It's nice to be here this evening. We're going to give everyone a couple minutes to get here. And today we're going to be learning a little bit about Scratch. So we are going to be learning some programming. And we'll get started in just a moment. Hope you all are doing well. Could you guys raise your hand if you can see my screen? Great, thank you, Kate, Jackson, Ben, Maddie. Wonderful. So it looks like 2 more people could join us, so we'll just give them a minute. I will let you know that you're going to be using the internet today, and the browser that I recommend that you're working with is Google Chrome. So I'll go ahead and open Google Chrome as well. So on a Mac, to get to Google Chrome, I went to my Finder. And on a PC, you would go to your File Manager with the Start key. We have some more people coming. Oh, goodness. Let's see here. Okay, great. Thank you for letting me know, Ben. We'll wait for Charlie. Sophie, I'm going to unmute you, okay?
All right.
Hey, Sophie, what's your question?
I don't have a question.
Okay, well, your hand was up. That's why I clicked.
Oh, sorry.
No worries. All right, Kate, I'm going to unmute you. So if you don't have a question, go ahead and put your hand down. All right. Okay, Ben, I'm going to unmute you. Hey, Ben, do you have a question? No?
My name is Charlie, and I just joined.
Okay, all right, I got it.
No.
So it should showing up as Ben twice on my computer, but that'll be, I will try to remember to use Charlie. All right, thank you. Let's see. Okay, I'll try to remember the top one is Charlie and the second one is Ben. All right, wonderful. Okay, so what we're going to be doing today is learning, I think this is everybody. I think this is all 6. Great. Again, if you weren't here when I first said it, my name is Miss Dubik. I teach computer science and engineering. I'll be subbing in today for either Miss Saunders or Mr. Dubik. There was a little bit of someone needed a sub, so some teachers got shuffled. But we're going to be learning one of my favorite kind of free resources out there, Scratch. If you've never heard of Scratch before, it's this really wonderful website that was made by MIT and in order to help people learn programming. So I think many people have seen Scratch before, maybe at your school or if you did a summer camp. This is what we'll be working on today. I'll go full screen here. We're going to make a little Halloween animation. If you don't celebrate Halloween or you don't like Halloween, yours doesn't need to be the Halloween theme, don't worry. But you are going to make an animation similar to this. And Scratch is really great. There's a lot of different uses you can do with it. So you can make interactive games, which you all will definitely get to. But just as we're learning Scratch, we're going to start with an animation. So essentially, you have kind of a backdrop, and then you have these separate characters. Go smaller here. That you're able to give instructions to. So we're going to we have these 3 kind of characters, and you give them different things to do. You script out what they're going to do. So that's what we'll be doing today. And you guys will be using Google Chrome as your browser, hopefully. Now, if you do not have Google Chrome, that's okay. You can try another browser. You can see that here, if you are a Mac person, you might notice I'm using Safari right now, and it works fine. But Google Chrome is kind of works the best with Scratch. So here we go. And if you're on an iPad today, and you're not able to work on Scratch, still hang out. If you have questions, you can ask questions. And then this is being recorded, so you'll be able to follow it later. So again, I'm on a Mac. So down here, you see this little face, that's my Finder. I could also click up here, which is the spotlight, and search for Google Chrome. Similar on a PC. You're going to go to your file manager, which would be that start button, and find Google Chrome. And you'll have to kind of bear with me if I'm going too slowly or too quickly. I'll kind of learn the pace of your class. I will say I teach high school, and a lot of my high school students have a hard time finding the files on their computer. So, going in with that. If you can open Google Chrome, you're in good shape. And so I've opened Google Chrome. Can you all raise your hand once well, let me go ahead and tell you. You're going to go to scratch.mit.edu. I'm going to post this link in the chat. So I just did that. And if you could raise your hand once you were able to go to this website. Great. I see a couple of you. Wonderful. Okay. So if you have, raise your hand if you already have an account with Scratch. No? Okay. Great. So we'll all be on the same level. That's perfect. That is absolutely perfect. I would be kind of surprised if someone had, but a lot of schools use it. It's a great learning tool. So there is a really simple process to make an account. Very simple. They ask not too much information. They do ask for an email, I believe. I could be wrong there. But what's kind of nice about Scratch is it's not required. So we're going to try it out today, and hopefully by the end of class today, we'll make an account. But we're just going to jump in and learn about it, kind of get our hands dirty to start with, as opposed to going through that. So we're at this site, and at the top, you should see that Create button. And we're going to go ahead and start just by creating our first project. So you can go ahead and click that. I'm going to go ahead and scroll down here and kind of show you all these really cool things that Scratch has. They have, as you can see, once you make an account, and if you kind of get into Scratch, you can share your projects. And there's, what does it say there? Almost 11 million projects have been shared. And what's nice, I was looking at a project earlier here. Let's say you were interested in, like you played this project and you were interested in it. Oh gosh. No good. You could actually remix it, which means you take their project and you edit the code. And that remixing is a really, really great way to learn. That's a cool thing that, we'll get to in a little bit. So, but right now you guys should be at this page, this create page. Hopefully your plugin is up to date. You'll notice the first thing that kind of popped up on your screen, hopefully, were these step-by-step tutorials, which are wonderful. We're not going to go through them today because, we're going to go through a tutorial ourselves. But if later you're interested in how to make a race or how to make the Pong game, you know that you can go back to these and it's going to help you kind of step by step. And it even has how would I do a special effect? Or, what do these different blocks do? So I know sometimes in games you ignore the tips. You're like, I'm a pro. But these tips are actually really nice. And I'm going to hit the X right now, but you can go back to it by hitting that question. All right. Okay, I see I have a question. Hello, Sophie. What's your question?
Yes. Are you supposed to make an account?
We are going to make an account at the end of class if you want to, but you do not need to make an account right now.
Okay.
Great question. Yes, Charlie, what's your question?
I'd say since I've already made an account.
Did you ask if it was okay if you made an account?
Okay, by the way, Ben, my brother Ben, he doesn't have a phone.
Okay. It is absolutely, I think I heard you ask, is it okay that I made an account? It is absolutely okay. 100% okay. That's great. But, you know, a lot of times school asks you to make an account for a lot of different stuff, and we're going to give you that option at the end if you enjoy working with Scratch. All right, I'm going to put your hands down. Raise your hand if you're on this page, this create page. This is our first project. Awesome. All right, you guys are doing great. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do, I'm a computer science teacher at my core. We're going to name our file. And again, it's going to give us the option to save at the end of class. We're going to go through making an account at the end. But for right now, I'm going to call mine the Halloween project. Again, I know not everybody celebrates Halloween. So if you don't celebrate Halloween, that's cool. You do not need to call yours that. You could call yours maybe animation is fine. Okay, good to know, Charlie. Glad he can use your microphone. But I thought it would be fun to do a little Halloween theme, personally. Getting in the spirit here. Okay. So if you guys could direct your attention to my screen for a minute, what this setup is, this is called your workspace. And very well designed. Up here is called the stage. And this is going to be where you kind of preview the animation or the game that you're making. Down below this space, you get to change and select different backdrops and sprites. So the backdrop affects kind of what the user sees in this square. It's a good way to create different levels or backgrounds for your animation. The sprites are the different kind of players in your animation or your game. So today we're going to be using animal type of sprites, but if you're making a game like Pong or like a soccer game, then your sprite might be a ball, or your sprite might be a car, or a dot or a paddle. It doesn't need to necessarily be an animal or a character. It's going to be anything that moves or is interactive, kind of any key piece of your game. If you are making the game Flappy Bird, then the bird would be a sprite. Can anyone else think about that game Flappy Bird if you've played that? What else might be a sprite in that game? You guys can raise your hand. All right. Ben, I saw your hand first, but I'm going to unmute Charlie, since Charlie has the microphone. What do you think?
I think you could do one of the
pipes.
I heard the pipes. The pipes, absolutely. So in the game Flappy Bird, you have the bird going up and down, and then so that is definitely a sprite. But then the pipes would also be a sprite, so that Flappy Bird can't hit those pipes. Ooh, we got a lot of hands. I'm going to put the hands down. To change the name of the file, it's up at the top here. You just type it in this box. Animation is what I'm going to call it right now. And if you have a question, you can raise your hand, or you can type in the little box. Yes, Sophie.
Are you supposed to start doing it?
What do you mean, Sophie? Are you on this page?
Are you supposed to start putting the sprites up?
No, not yet. And we'll start that in just a minute. I'm just kind of going to explain what each of these parts of your workspace are first.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So you'll notice for each sprite, right now we only have one, and it's this little cat. You can give each sprite its own kind of set of instructions to do, and that's really what a program is. When you're programming, you're giving your computer a set of instructions to complete. So over in this box to the side, we are going to make a list of instructions for our sprites. And these instructions we kind of piece together like a puzzle piece. And you see all these different kinds of instructions we can give our sprites in here. All right, Sophie, we're going to start. So everybody, the first thing that we're going to do is actually we're going to delete this sprite. We're going to delete this cat. So right click. On a Mac, you can hit Control click. But you're going to right click on this little cat. And you're going to hit delete. Now we have no sprites. Again, what I just did is I right clicked the sprite and I clicked delete. If you notice, I undid that so I could show it to you again. And how I did that is I hit edit, undelete. There's an undo button. That's very handy. Okay, let's see. We have a question. Maddie, what's your question? Oh, your mic, you are muted. All right, Maddie, I can't hear you because you muted yourself, but if you want to type the question to me, I can try to answer it. Or you can unmute yourself.
Okay. Mine is eating.
Yours isn't deleting?
No.
When you right click on the cat, do you see this little menu come up?
No.
Okay. When you watch, when you right or click on the cat, does a blue box come around that cat?
Yes.
Okay. So, Maddie, if you look on my screen for a second, you're right clicking down here, correct?
Correct.
Not up here in the stage, down here.
Correct.
Okay. Oh, okay. You're right clicking and this does not come up.
No.
Okay. Are you using a PC or a Mac?
I'm using. Oh, never mind.
Okay, great. Hey, Sophie, what's your question?
I can't get it either.
Okay. Are you using a PC or a Mac?
I'm using a PC.
Okay. So you have a right click on your. Sometimes Macs don't have right clicks, which makes it confusing. Okay, so I'm going to ask you similar questions as I did to Maddie, Sophie. Sophie, are you clicking down here where you see my mouse right now?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to mute you or I'm going to ask Maddie what she did to solve the problem, okay?
All right.
Hey, Maddie, how did you solve your problem?
I did it. Right click twice.
You right-clicked it twice. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Sophie, can you try doing that?
Yes, it still doesn't work. It says settings, global settings, about a div /player.
Interesting.
Wait. No, don't do that.
Okay. What you're going to do right now, Sophie, it sounds like somehow you're right-clicking on the page, but it's not letting me do that. So what you're going to do for right now is...
No, that's not the one that you're right. Left.
Yeah, you got to try to right-click and this is how you delete it. What you're going to try to do for right now is you're just going to leave the cat there. And I'm going to show you how it won't actually matter. We'll just make the cat hide and pretend like he's not in your scene. Okay, so now, hopefully you don't have a cat. If you do, we'll deal with that in a minute. we're going to add some new sprites to our scene. So if you look really closely from that sprite section, you can see it looks almost like a little elf. And when you hover over it with your mouse, it turns blue. And that allows you to choose a sprite from all of the sprites that Scratch has to offer. You can actually make your own, or find one from your computer, or take a picture of yourself and add yourself as a sprite. But right now what we're doing is we're adding a sprite from the library. And again, that's that first little tiny elf head. And you should see a menu that comes up like this. I'll go ahead and show that again in case you missed it. I kind of saw that new sprite, and I moved my mouse to the right, and I am choosing a sprite from the library. And I want that one. And it is important that for right now, you do choose that one. That's the one you need to choose. Even if later you want to change your animation, that's fine. And once you've selected Bat1, you can hit OK. You should see Bat1 there. Raise your hand once you have Bat1. If you missed it, I'll go through the steps again. Choose sprite from library, Bat1, OK. And yeah, you should raise your hand once you got Bat1 in your scene. Great. So what we're going to do is we're going to start to give, one moment. Hey, Kate, were you able to get Bat1?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, okay. Oh, you were putting your hand down. I appreciate that. All right. Okay. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you what I mean by, give this sprite some commands. So over here, kind of in this middle column, there's a whole lot of different things you could change about the bat. A whole lot of different commands you could give them. And if you notice, you can kind of click around, and go ahead if you want to click around, and you can see all these different looking puzzle pieces. These kind of look like the top. You can't add anything on top of them. Some of them look kind of strange, like, oh, that's not going to connect anywhere. But most of them look like these pieces here. They look like you could kind of stack them together. And you'll notice that you kind of can, right? To delete them, you just click and drag them back on that menu bar. And I just wanted you right now just to be looking at the shapes. That's all we're looking at, okay? So if you did pull any onto your kind of workspace here, go ahead and click and drag them back over here so that there's nothing on your workspace. Each of these names up here, each of these different colors, represents a different category of commands. So if you wanted your bat to play a sound, you would look under the sound category. And if you wanted your bat to make a move, which we do, it would be under the motion category. Makes sense. Move 10 steps is a really handy command that you use a lot in animations, especially at the beginning, and we're going to use that. So to use it, what you do is you click that puzzle piece and you drag it onto your work area. And I'm going to zoom in so you all can see my screen a little better. And once you click and drag it onto your work area, you can press it, and you'll see over on the stage, your sprite moves forward. So go ahead and give that a try. I'm under motion, and I found that puzzle piece, and I just clicked and dragged it onto my work area. And now when I press it, when I press the puzzle piece, the sprite that it's attached to moves forward. And if you can kind of tell this, this little box looks a little different. The box that has the 10 in it from the rest of the puzzle piece. It's white and it has that black text in there. That's because you can actually change what that says. So if you double click inside that little circle, you can change the number of steps, the number of quote unquote steps that the bat is going to take. So what does this look like? Go ahead and change that number to a bigger number, like 50, and click away. Now, click the button. Changing this number, making it bigger, what does that do? What effect does that have on your when you click the little puzzle piece? Kate, what do you think?
Well, it moves the bat forward.
It moves the bat forward, yeah. And so when you moved the bat and it was taking 10 steps versus when you moved it and it was taking 50 steps, what kind of difference did you see there?
That it moved more forward.
That it moved more forward. Okay, I like that. Now, Jackson, I saw you raised your question too, and you raised your hand as well, and I have a question for you. Did we see the bat taking extra steps? Did it look like the bat took more steps?
No, not really.
It was just one step. I agree with you. It looked maybe like the bat took a longer step. What this little puzzle piece is saying is how you want to move your bat 60 pixels forward. And, you may know this, you may not. Pixels are what, your screen is made up of. And they're those tiny dots. If you see an image, people might say it looks quote unquote pixelated. If you play Minecraft, that looks quote unquote pixelated. Everything is in boxes. So essentially it moves it kind of these small units, these 60 small units across your screen. So it doesn't really look like it's taking more steps, it's taking a bigger step. Okay, so it's always moving to the right now. How do you think you would get the bat to move backwards? You guys can try it out a little bit. Raise your hand if you think you know the answer. Try it out first, but I'm going to give everyone in the class a couple minutes to try it out. So how do we get the bat to move backwards? Using this block. You don't need another block. It's a tough question, but try some different things out. What else could you put in here? Okay, so no one quite has it. Try what you should try doing. Oh, wait, let's see. Oh, Charlie. Charlie, what do you think?
I got him to move. Yeah, that turns
Wait, you got the bat to do what?
Yeah, I got him to turn up to move back.
Just using this box? This puzzle piece?
No, I put one of the ones and
Oh, okay, awesome. So you had him turn upside down, and then he started moving to the left.
Yeah.
Great. Okay, that is actually a little harder than what you had to do, but that works well. Sorry, yeah, some people are saying my microphone is echoing. Sophie, I see yours. We'll get to you in just a second. There's not really anything you can do with the echoing. I tried turning my volume down, but sorry, y'all. So to get the bat to move backwards, you can put in a negative number. So now when I click, the bat moves backwards. What Charlie did is had the bat turn, like flip over, because he used a different puzzle piece, which we're actually going to use in just a moment. Before we move forward, I want you to change your block to say move 10 steps again. And Sophie. Hey, Sophie.
Yes,
Hello.
Do you have your bat selected or your cat selected down here?
my cat.
Okay, so click on the bat.
Okay.
You know what, Sophie? Let's do this. I'm going to add this thing of bananas because I'm going to show you how we're going to make the cat invisible, okay? So select your cat.
Okay.
And go to looks and click on the button that my mouse is over right now that says hide.
I don't see it.
Okay, so do you see how I changed from motion blocks that are blue to looks blocks that are purple?
Yes.
Okay, it should be the 6th block down. And you can scroll up and down on this if you need to.
I got it.
Okay, great. So now, you know, what you're going to do is essentially ignore the cat, click on the bat, and you'll be giving the bat instructions. So
All right.
pull out the move block for the bat. Okay, great. Okay, so like Jackson said, it's just the bat is just taking kind of bigger steps. But if you remember the animation that we're going to make today, we want our bat to look like it's kind of flying down across the screen, not just jumping from one end of the screen to the other, right? So to do that, what we're going to do is tell the bat to move forward a little bit, and then to move forward a little bit, and then to move forward a little bit. So one way you could do that is to kind of stack move blocks one on top of the other. Right? I could have 5 move blocks in a row. And that should have the bat move 10 pixels forward. And then move another 10 steps. Right now this looks like it's taking 5 steps. So go ahead and try that out. And tell me what you notice. Ben, I see you have a question. Can you, I will call on you. I'm using, of course, Charlie's microphone here. Ben, what's your question?
Hey, Dan, what's your question? My thing is just like lagging. So I can't really listen to what other people are saying.
Okay. What I heard, Ben, is that you're having a hard time hearing what other people are saying. So maybe maybe try typing if you have a question. I hope you can hear what I'm saying. This is also being recorded. If you're having a hard time, with your internet connection, kind of seeing what I'm seeing, or your scratch is being slow, but that's kind of the best we can do for right now. Sorry, Ben. Internet connection woes. I get it. Hey, Sophie.
Hey, I can get my bat to move.
Okay, so you have the bat selected.
Yes.
Okay, and you pulled out a move 10 steps from the motion block.
Yes.
Did you click on it?
Yes, but it's only going like one step.
Right. So what it looks like it should take 10 steps, right? But what's actually happening is it's taking one step that's 10 pixels long. And if you make this bigger, it takes a bigger step, but it's still only taking one step.
Okay.
Okay, we're trying to figure out a way around that right now. God, you got it to work. So essentially, if you do this, hey, Maddie.
Hi.
You-
I can't get my bat to move
You can't get your bat to move at all?
backward.
Okay. To move backwards, you put a negative number. So you put a minus sign before the 10.
Oh, okay.
Okay, great. Okay, so if you tried this 10 step, these 5 move 10 steps together, can someone describe what happened? Did it look like he took 5 separate steps? Ben, what did it look like?
It put them together. So it really didn't like one at a time.
Exactly. So if you had a hard time hearing that, it doesn't look like he took 5 separate steps. It looked like the bat took 1 step. It looked exactly like if you had used a move 50 steps block. They look the same, and we can test that out. That one looks just like this one. The reason is because our computers are very, very fast, much faster than our eyes. So what's happening is that the bat is following these instructions, but it's doing them quicker than a second. So what we need to do is go to the control section and find these wait 1 second blocks. And watch my screen for a second. Even if you're not quite caught up, I want you guys to watch my screen so you can see how I do this. I'm going to select a wait 1 second block. And notice how when I hover between 2 blocks, a little white outline appears. That's going to place this block between 2 blocks. So watch that again. I'm in the control section. I select the wait 1 second block, and I drop it between 2 move blocks. All right, go ahead and try that out and see what that looks like. Hey, Maddie, what's your question?
My guy is. Hello.
I can hear you.
Oh, my bat is backward. When I put the
Your bat's not moving forward, or is it not moving backwards?
it's not moving
backward.
I think so. You need to do a separate block that just has a negative number in it.
Yeah. So I put a negative. Just move forward.
You put minus and then a number,
Yes.
and then that's the only block that it's connected to.
No,
It's connected.
Pull it so that it's separate, that it's by itself.
Oh,
Okay.
Because what's happening, Maddie, if you have something like this, then the computer is having it move backwards and then forwards once more, faster than you can even see.
Oh, okay.
I think.
No problem. Okay, sorry about, I know some people are still, they're saying that there's feedback with the audio. But if you type me a question, I may be able to help you better. All right, so can you guys raise your hand once your screen looks like this? Once you have the move, wait, move, wait, move, wait, move, wait, move, and test it out. Very exciting. So keep your hand up once you got this. I see people putting their hands down. Are we losing it? Or so once you have this, make sure you keep your hand raised. So Kate, I saw your hand was raised before, but then you put it down. I just want to make sure you're still working on it. Okay, great. All right, I'm going to put everybody's hands down. What I want you to do now, so you can see that it's kind of a cool effect. The bat moves, oops, moves, waits, moves, waits. Let's see. But you can see we're kind of stacking up a bunch of blocks already, and it's moving pretty slowly. What we're going to do first, there are actually special blocks in Scratch that allow you to repeat a set of commands. So instead of having to do a move, wait, move, wait, move, wait, you can switch over to Control and use this block. This is called a repeat block. So I'm going to click and drag it over to my screen. And watch how I do this here. I'm going to click this move block, kind of the second blue move block. And you'll notice I have kind of all of the move and wait blocks except for 2. And I'm going to delete those. Does everybody see this? Make sure your eyes are on my screen. Everybody's eyes on my screen for a second. I'm deleting all of these move and wait blocks. And how I did that is I just clicked this, this third block, this second move 10 steps block, and it selects all the blocks beneath it as well. And I'm going to delete those. And then I'm going to put these 2 blocks, the move and wait, inside this repeat block. Very handy. Now what's going to happen is in the code, it's going to move, wait, and then it's going to start over. And it's going to do it a total of 10 times. Not surprising. So go ahead and try that out. And I also want you to change the wait 1 second to be wait 0.1 seconds. We'll see our bat is really cruising now. Raise your hand once you've gotten that to work. And I'm just going to repeat it in case anyone didn't see what I did. So I'm repeating the whole steps right now in case you're lost. So we were over here, and I went into my control where we found the wait block, and I found this repeat 10 times block, and I'm going to drag this out onto my workspace. I'm going to select all of these excess move and wait blocks by clicking this second move block. And that selects all the blocks beneath it as well. And I'm going to drop it onto our block selection to delete it. So now we only have one move block and one wait block. And I'm going to click and drag them into the repeat. So that way these two blocks are going to be repeated 10 times. And I could change that. I could make it 20. I could make it 5, but 10 is fine for right now. And I'm going to have it happen 0.1 seconds in between. So it'll move 10 steps, wait a tenth of a second, and then move another 10 steps and wait a tenth of a second. So raise your hand when you are ready to continue once you've gotten this. And since I'm having everyone raise their hand to signal that they're ready to go, if you have a question, please go ahead and type me a question. Or say, hey, call on me. How many times does it repeat? Up here at the top of the repeat block, you'll see that we have the number 10. And that's going to be how many times it repeats. So if I wanted, we can kind of see if I kind of click and drag my bat to the left side of the screen, and then I hit repeat, the repeat block, it only makes it about halfway, not even halfway. So I could change that number to make it bigger. Okay, great. All right, just waiting on 2 hands to move forward. You can put a repeat box inside of a repeat box. A lot of codes you need to do that. Great question. So you could do this. Well, I won't. I don't want to get everyone all distracted. Great. We are going to move on to the next part. And I think you're going to like this next part because it starts to look pretty cool. So eyes on my screen for a second. I just need to go through a little explanation and then you'll kind of see what I'm talking about here. This bat, multiple, different sprites have different states, and they call those states costumes. So for this sprite came with 2 quote-unquote costumes, or 2 states, one with his wings up and one with his wings down. And what's neat, you see when I click at the separate ones, the bat looks like he's flapping his wings in the stage. And you can add more. You can duplicate them or you can edit them. It's really nice and handy and all that. But for right now, you just need to know that. We're not going to change them for right now. If you guys want to change them after class, absolutely go for it. But for right now, we're just going to use the fact that he has 2. Or she. Could be a female bat. So to do that, we're going to use a looks block. And you can see the looks block here. And the block we're going to use is called next costume. And actually, we're going to use the costume, or the block, switch to costume bat B. And the reason that we're going to do that is because we're actually going to add a little bit more to the animation here. And I'm going to be pulling out a couple of blocks, you can see, but I will give you guys time to kind of hunt for and find these blocks. I kind of recreated that stack of 3. So what you're going to do, you want the bat to switch to costume that A, which is the one with his wings up, move forward, wait 0.1 seconds, and then switch his costume to bat B, which is his costume with the bat wings down. Move 10 steps forward, or kind of move that one big step forward, and then wait 0.1 seconds. To add this chunk of 3 above this, I just click and drag and wait till I get that kind of white outline. Why did I do this? Because I'm going to start to do, I think Charlie already did this, I'm going to use these turn blocks to make it kind of look like the bird or the bat is flapping its wings. So under switch costume to bat 1A, I'm adding a turn to the right 15 degrees. And under switch costume to bat 1B, I'm adding a turn to the left 15 degrees. Now, I know some of you are thinking, goodness gracious, Ms. Dubik, you just added so many blocks. But you guys kind of know where you can find these, right? The only other block I'm going to ask you guys, I'm going to add right now is an events block. When green flag clicked. This allows us to click this green flag up here instead of having to click this repeat block. What I'm going to do right now is drop a handout. And this handout is called BAT code. And that allows you all to have this code, and we can take a look at that handout together. So it should open like this. Okay. And I actually have a couple extra pieces in here too. What this code does is when the user presses the green flag, the bat is going to be visible, and it's going to go to the left-hand corner of the screen. That way you don't have to keep clicking and dragging the bat over. And then it's going to go through its costumes and its turning, and it's going to loop through that, and then it's going to hide so that it looks like it flew across the screen. This is the code for that. On Wednesday, we're definitely going to go over this more. I just started to see we only have 8 minutes left. And I wanted you guys to be able to kind of try and get one of our sprites working. So everyone should have that handout now that you can take a look at. And you can kind of work off of. But I'm still here if you have any questions for me as we go through this. I know that was just a lot. Ben, I see you have a question. Ooh, Jackson has a question. So Ben, I'll let you ask a question first. Yes.
How do you do the code?
Pardon me?
How do you put the purple block?
Okay. Okay, great question. So how do you put the purple block in the code? If you have, let's say, this switch costume to bat B, and you wanted it to be, let me take it out. So if you wanted it to be right there between the wait 0.1 seconds and the turn 15 degrees, I would click and hover over where I wanted to put it and see that white outline that appears. And then I would drop it right there. Hey Jackson, what's your question?
I'm sorry, I forgot.
Okay, that's okay. I know that was a lot. That was a lot of blocks to add all at once. But what's really wonderful about Scratch is that, now that you see the combination, what you guys can do is try to go ahead and click and find those blocks and put them together. And hopefully it maybe will start making some sense and you can change some things. Like Charlie asked, maybe it's Charlie or Ben, how many times is it going to repeat? Well, by changing this number, you could kind of try to figure it out. So you do have a list of blocks there. What I want you to do right now is take a break from the BAT code. And in the upper right corner of the screen, there's a button that says Sign In. If you click it, it allows you to join Scratch. This is free, very easy to do. We can kind of run through the steps together. And it's optional, though we will be doing it in class. And so if you want to save your code for Wednesday, then we really highly recommend you make one. So it's very easy. So go ahead and do this now. These questions are private. It's just for Scratch to use. Whoa, okay, lots of questions. How do you do this? I was gone for a second. Oh gosh, we have class on Wednesday. You guys may not have class on Wednesday. I will ask Mr. Dubik about that. You do have lab on Saturday. I know that. So the next time you all meet as a class. So Ben, I know you said you have questions because you were gone for a second. We'll definitely get to those. Right now, I want to make sure everybody is able to make an account. And what I'm going to do, so it should be pretty simple, pretty straightforward. I'm going to give it some fake information just to fill in as I move forward. Okay, and it will ask for an email address. But you can use your parents' email address since you may not have an email address. Or, again, you don't need to make an account. And that is absolutely fine. Absolutely fine to keep just working on what you have now. So what I recommend doing, if you want to keep working on this animation after today, you have that PDF that I dropped that shows you the blocks that I used, and just take your time. You see that the turn 15 degrees block looks blue. So go to the motion section, find that turn 15 degrees block, and you can kind of try to fit it in. The other thing is that this webinar has been recorded. So while I did move through this part pretty quickly, you can find the recording on YouTube, and Mr. Dubik will send you that link, and you can hit pause and kind of follow what I'm doing, but at a slower rate so that you can go along with it. I'm also going to drop. No, I won't. Hopefully I'll be able to work with you all again on this stuff. Now, does anyone have a specific question on the block, on this code right now? Maybe theirs isn't working. Right now, my bat looks like he's moving down. There we go. He looks a little better. And I want him to move all the way across the screen. So maybe I'll have him repeat that 20 times. And now, instead of stopping, he's going to keep flying. And, okay, let's see, Jackson. Hey, Jackson, what's your question?
I don't have a question.
Oh, okay, your hand was raised. Hey, do you have a question, Charlie? No, okay. If you're interested in Scratch and you wanted to see some of my other code, I made a few more handouts for you all, the ghoul code and the witch code. And you can take a look at those. That's just up for you if you were interested and wanted to do a few things outside of class. What you would need to do is add a new sprite. And again, you can rewatch this to see how in slower, to watch it slower to see how I kind of do this. Add the witch sprite, and then follow the witch code to kind of see how you get this flying effect. And then the same for the ghoul. So notice how the bat has its code, and the witch would have its code as well. All right, everybody, it was absolutely wonderful to work with you this week. And I wish you the best of luck. I hope you guys have fun on Saturday. I will send these resources and this recording to Mr. Dubik, and hopefully he'll be able to get all these resources to you. I hope you've enjoyed Scratch. Sophie, so glad you're logged in. How do you get a background? Kate, that's a great question. If you know how you can click on that or you can click on which, you can actually click on your backdrop. And what's cool is you can actually code for your backdrop, but we won't get to that today. And if you look at this kind of mountains with a moonscape, choose backdrop from library. That is how you can do that. And I think I chose nature. I chose the woods as kind of like a spooky background. And again, the recording will show that, and you can pause and kind of follow a little easier if you didn't get that right away. But all time is up. I hope you guys had a good evening, and best of luck.